Welcome to the October 6, 2022 regular meeting of the Human Services Advisory Board. I am calling the meeting to order at 7:01. Thank you all for attending. I will now call the roll for the record of board member attendance. Allison
Here.
Pledging. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Mary Earls. Ruben Garza.
Here.
Monica Gonzalez.
Present.
Gloria Quinn, present. Marina Zamora.
Present.
And the new member is?
Rachel Montgomery, present.
Welcome.
Thank you.
With sufficient number of 7 voting members in attendance, we have a quorum.
Is anyone present?
I say that.
Mhm.
Is staff, is anyone present in person, online, or by phone to speak during the citizen comment period?
So we do have 2 people present that I'm going to ask if you are here to speak during the citizen comment period. Emily and Joe.
Okay.
No, I'm just
that all.
listening to y'all's meeting.
Okay, thank you.
No, I probably won't as well.
Okay, thank you. Then we do not have anyone to speak at the citizen comment period.
Minutes.
We will now consider approval by motion of the September 22nd, 2022 meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion.
Goody. And the motion was made by
Second the motion.
Allison.
Allison.
Allison. Do I hear a second motion?
I second it. Monica.
Thank you, Monica. Can't read and look at. Does the board have any discussion or corrections regarding the minutes? All in favor say aye. All against,
Aye.
please. All against say nay. All right. We will now receive a 5-minute presentation by the applicant agency for each program that was listed on the evening's agenda. Each agenda will receive a 30-second warning as the 5-minute time limit is approaching. Each presentation will be followed by a 5-minute question and answer session between board members and the agency regarding the program or application. Members of the public are welcome to listen to the presentations, but will not take part in the discussion or the question and answer session. Time limits will be strictly enforced on both the presentation and the question and answer session. Since I am a voting member of the board, so that I can devote my attention to the presentation and discussions, staff will introduce the presenters and track the time. Thank you.
Okay, our first agency up is Central Texas Dispute Resolution Center.
Promise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And, oh, that's okay. And we have Martha Joyce here. Martha, did you have a presentation that you wanted to share?
No, not really. I just wanted to discuss our grant application and that's it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's Martha Joyce talking about the program named Reaching Out to Those in Need.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity to visit with you. And I want to share with you some of our successes and plans for our future that we have in the works. The Central Texas Dispute Resolution Center has been in business since 2009, and at that time we were called the Hays County Dispute Resolution Center. We soon found out, though, that we needed more funding to be able to keep our doors open. So we reached out to the 4 counties around us and now serve Comal, Hays, Guadalupe, and Caldwell counties. The other thing that made this decision for us was that we had attorneys and individuals contacting us to come over and to do mediation here because we were offering a service that the other counties did not have. So at this time, we became the Central Texas Dispute Resolution Center. And I'd like to remind you of our mission statement to provide affordable alternative dispute resolution services to the citizens of Central Texas. And it's our vision to peacefully resolve conflict through mediation and to serve the economically disadvantaged as a place and resource for mediation. We're not in business to compete with the private mediators. We're here to help the unserved and the underserved, and to give them to give those folks the opportunity to settle disputes peacefully. Because we know that once they learn that they can settle disputes peacefully, that it will also enhance their skills as they have different conflicts in their life, and can learn that they can settle those conflicts. What we find is many people do not understand the benefits of mediation. And last year, I think in my grant application, I wrote something to the effect that we're the best kept secret, which we are. So we need to continue to market not only what mediation is, but who we are. A couple of weeks ago, we did a parade, and as we traveled down the street slowly, you could see people reading the signs on the car, and you could see them with this question looked on their face saying, "What is that?" So we know that education is something that we're going to have to continue to do to let people know what mediation is and the benefits of what we do. Now, currently, we are set up with only 2 employees, myself and a mediation coordinator, who, by the way, her last day was last Friday. Excuse me. She was offered a deal that she couldn't resist to get her master's degree for almost nothing out of pocket. So we currently have a volunteer who has stepped up and is assisting us until we can find someone to fill this spot.
Madam Chair.
Ruben, what do you need?
Can we take a minute break, please?
I'm fine. I'm sorry. I'll regain my composure. Thank you, Ruben.
Okay, all right.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry. It just kind of got to me. I didn't expect it to.
It happens.
We have a total of 70 volunteers who mediate for us. In 2022, we did a total of 151 mediations. And this works out to serving a minimum of 189 Hays County residents with 87 referrals from the Justice of the Peace Courts. We do charge for our mediations. For a family mediation, our family cases, these are divorces, child custody, child support, and SAPSERs. They can mediate through the DRC for $150 per party for up to 8 hours.
30 seconds.
On the private market, this would cost over $600. Anyway, we are also not charging for JP cases. And one of the things that I need to tell you about is, even though our grant request shows that we've got reserves, we have been approached to purchase an office space in New Braunfels. We are planning to keep a space here in San Marcos. So it's not going to show y'all the true picture of what our financials are going to be this year.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, is that the conclusion of your presentation?
Well, I sped it up. I didn't say everything I was going to, so.
You can take another 30 seconds or so.
Well, I just wanted y'all to know that the true picture is not in the financials that I submitted, because this all occurred on August the 5th of 2022, when we were approached by Communities and Schools in New Braunfels to purchase an office location that they had. They gave us a wonderful deal on it, and it's something that we can't turn down. But we are planning to maintain space and office space here in San Marcos, because we know we're going to grow as both counties are growing.
Okay, thank you. That sounds like a great place to conclude. And now we'll open the 5-minute question and answer session. And this is just for the board members.
Martha, on the application, I noticed that there were 2 sources of funding listed as needing matching funds. And then I saw them again later down the application indicating they had not yet been applied for. Can you give us like an updated status on pending grant applications from other counties or foundations?
Okay, yes, right now, I think one of the foundations that was listed on there was the McKenna Foundation. And basically, they possibly, at this time, they have not committed to an amount to help us to purchase this office location. We are planning at this point to use our financials, or the money that we have in the bank, for our 20% down payment, et cetera. But they have also told us that we will not be eligible for any grants for at least a year if they help us, but we will not know anything until the end of October from them. So I have applied. It was a totally different application that I had planned on submitting to them, because like I said, in August, this just totally changed and I had already submitted the grant application for HSAB. Did that answer your question? Caldwell County, that one I can still apply for. It's just I've had so many things that have taken priority that I haven't had that opportunity to get that one going. But that one will probably be submitted before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
And I appreciate you reading that so closely.
How specifically has the program expanded that you need more funds?
Well,
Two
specifically,
locations?
we will have 2 locations. We'll have one here and we'll have one in New Braunfels. Basically, we continue to try to reach out to more people, to educate more people, to try to let them know what mediation is about, and how it can be a very useful tool in their toolbox, and also how, it can help them in their daily lives.
Okay, do we have any more questions from the board?
The volunteers who are they? I mean, not individuals, but background. Are they lawyers? Are they?
Oh, they're individuals for the most part. We do have some that are attorneys. You do not have to be an attorney to mediate.
To mediate.
And, you know, a lot of people have the idea that you have to be, but quite frankly, in all of my years' experience, and I have been mediating since 1998, and I am not an attorney. You don't have to be an attorney to be a good mediator.
But do you have to be a mediator, like on the
You have
outside?
to take the classes, yes, to be able to mediate, yes, and get the training to be able to mediate.
That makes sense.
And, you know, up to 8 hours of mediation, that can be pretty tiring. You know, it takes a lot of, you have to really like what you're doing, and you have to really be able to give that much time to mediate for, and sometimes they will go even longer than 8 hours, but we try to keep them back, as you know, because it's getting harder and harder to get mediators that want to give that much time to it.
5 minutes.
And we do not pay them.
Oh,
Okay, that's our 5 minutes for the question and answer session. And so we'll now go on to the next agency that's presenting, and that is Communities in Schools. The program is called Mental Health and Wellness Counseling Program in San Marcos. San Marcos Consolidated Independent School District, and the presenters are Dorothy Garza and Sharon Vigil. And we can see your screen, you're sharing, so that's great.
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Hello, my name is Sharon Vigil, and I am the CEO of Communities in Schools of Central Texas. Our mission centers around nurturing the enormous potential inside every young person. We believe students deserve access to relationships, experiences, and opportunities that support their lives for the better. We are the nation's largest and most effective dropout prevention organization. And for over 40 years, we have helped students achieve in school, graduate, and go on to bigger, brighter futures. We strive to support educational equity through our people, our programs, and our partnerships. Specifically, CIS places highly trained and qualified social service providers on campus. They provide services ranging from mental health, social support, mentorship, basic needs, and on-campus advocacy. Our research-based model is centered on a full collaboration on campus. We conduct a needs assessment and then work with campus administrators to implement each unique plan. We currently serve 10 campuses in the district. Our engagement was propelled by the Youth Risk Behavior Survey report. As many of you might be aware of, in 2021, there were 4 youth deaths by suicide in your community, and that truly prompted our full-scale support of the school and of your home. As I mentioned, our model focuses on serving the school, but also it supports the community as a whole. And so we enhance communities so that students can thrive. So on the left side, you're going to see here are direct services. And so last year we served 938 students, and we believe that we will serve additional students this year. We also provided direct financial support to those students that we serve in the amount of approximately close to $37,000. And we brought in 12 beautiful partnerships into the community. On the right-hand side, you will see the training that we provided on campus and then how our staff is involved within your community. So CIS is a great steward of resources, and we have a history of leveraging financial investments made directly into our program, and we really pride ourselves in investing right back into the communities we serve. Today, we are asking for $35,000 to support more intensive campus-based mental health services in San Marcos. Based on our current investment, for every dollar that we receive from this committee by the city, we will leverage on average $36.51. This means that we will leverage your funding by 134%. Now I am going to pass it on to my colleague, Dorothy Garza, to really speak a little bit more about the program.
Thank you, Sharon. The mental health and my name is Dorothy Garza, and I'm the Senior Director of Mental Health Services with Communities and Schools of Central Texas. The Mental Health and Wellness Counselor will serve a total of 40 students during the academic year at 3 San Marcos CISD campuses to begin. These campuses were selected based on the 21-22 school year campus level data, including the incidences of Tier 3 crisis intervention on the campus and existing campus supports. The Mental Health and Wellness Counselor will provide intensive short-term counseling to students struggling to succeed in both the classroom and CIS integrated support services. The Mental Health and Wellness Counselor will draw from various evidence-based practices and will ensure that services are provided from a strengths perspective and are trauma-informed. The goals for this individualized support and counseling are to provide crisis stabilization, assist in the students' reintegration into campus-based services, and collaborate with community mental health partners to secure ongoing mental health support for students. In addition to this individualized support, the CIS Mental Health and Wellness Program, of which this counselor is a part, is committed to comprehensive mental health programming. The Mental Health and Wellness Program will provide mental health training and supports to the community and support the CIS internship program. Equity and access are key values to CIS, and by funding the counselor position, you contribute to our commitment to ensure that students in the most need are provided access to mental health care from an agency working in partnership with your students, your campuses, and your community.
30 seconds.
I'll turn it back over to Sharon.
Thank you so much for having us today, and it is our pleasure to answer any questions that you may have for us.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll start the 5-minute question and answer session now.
Sharon, you mentioned some of the various partnerships that you bring to the schools, as well as the work that you do individually with your organization. Can you talk a little bit about what types of partnerships are you connecting those students and families with other sort of community programs that they can access in addition to the work that you guys do?
Yeah, I can read off a list for you, but instead I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Erika Gallardo, who is from your community and really embedded, and she'll be able to answer a little bit deeper. Do you want to go ahead, Erika?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. So at this time, we are bringing in partners to support the needs of each of the campuses. Those are Austin Center for Grief and Loss, Austin Diaper Bank, Austin Area Food Bank, Centacor, Common Threads, Girls Empowerment Network, Girl Scouts of Central Texas, Flow Code, Hayes Caldwell Women's Center, Hayes County Food Bank, Out Youth, Sparks for Success, Texas State University Department of Human Development and Family Sciences and School of Social Work, and Wonders and Worries. So as our program managers are able to identify the needs, we're able to bring in partners to specifically support those student needs and the requests of administration on campus.
Yeah, and we really pride ourselves in bringing resources into San Marcos. Sometimes you have partnership deserts, and we completely identify that. And so we have an entire back-end partnership department of our agency that only focuses on communities who usually have partnership deserts.
It's excellent. I like that you're making those connection points for the school districts.
For the mental health professional that this funding is being requested for, I saw that it said that they would be serving Mendez, Goodnight, and Miller out of the 3. Like, are they only serving those 3 of the 9 schools that y'all serve in San Marcos?
For that position, yes. You know, it is a layered, expansive position. We actually do not have full funding for any of our mental health extra layered support. And so through this funding, we will be able to provide one position to serve those 3 campuses.
Okay, thank you.
Where do you get most of your referrals from? The school itself?
Yeah, so we are a community-based organization. Many of our campus staff sit on child study team, and that is a place where people from the people from the campus come together and they really study children to see what their needs are, and we decide who serves them. So we get our referrals from teachers, from principals, from counselors, from community members, from parents sometimes, and even from peers. We do not turn anyone away. We do not have a requirement or any criteria. We care for students and we want to support them.
Hey, Sharon, I noticed earlier in the presentation, you mentioned that you've been able to provide direct financial support for some families. What's an example of what those funds would be used for?
Yeah, so sometimes it's to pay a bill. They do not have enough money to pay for the electricity bill. Sometimes it is to help with their rent or mortgage. Sometimes it is that the car needs tires. And so, you know, we are about making sure that we're eliminating barriers for students to get to school.
Right.
And so we would pay for that. Sometimes it could be about glasses. You know, at the high schools, we also help pay for caps and gowns. And so it really, it depends. But if it is a barrier that is going to prohibit a student from attending campus, or it's going to make it harder for them, we have a little funding where we can come in and work alongside the family so that students don't have to worry about that. Sometimes it's also about food. We have a lot of food requests in San Marcos. We have noticed that there is a food insecurity issue. And so we have not only partnered, but also provided HEB gift cards or direct funding so that students have food.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll stop the question and answer session there. And we'll go on to our next presenter, which is Hill Country Mental Health and Developmental Disability Centers, presenting their program, San Marcos Community Support. And the 2 presenters, no, there's 3, sorry. I believe there's 3, Ricky Ty Farrell, Amy Lowry, and Melissa Ramirez. And we can see your screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank y'all for your time. What great presenters we had with Martha and Dorothy. We support your agency. We support your help. We support what you do, and thank you for being the advocate for the kids and for the individuals in Hays County. We come to you today. One, we are the local mental health authority for Hays County, for MHDD. We are caring people dedicated to quality service. Currently, we cover 19 counties, but I want to talk about Hays. Right now in Hays, as of today, we serve 1,364 adults in mental health. We serve 240 children, youth in our mental health services. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to service 459 individuals in mental health court, 1,950 individuals with peer support, and 2,038 individuals in the Family Partner Program. You ask, why do we want your money? As all of us are here tonight because we see a need in mental health care. We see a need wherever we can help other individuals, and we can't do it because we don't have the funding. Sadly, the state of Texas, access to mental health, we rank 51 in America. That is not okay. Not only that, but the overall access for mental health, we rank 44. So what will your funding help us with? Your funding will help us with 3 different positions, and these 3 different positions are mental health court. What does mental health court include? 1, it will help reduce the recidivism rate and build support with individuals who are struggling with mental illness and justice involved. This is not only where your local mental health authority team will come alongside to help this individual, it will be their probation parole officer, the judge, and the police forces to help these individuals to not get back into jail and to help them monitor and stabilize what's going on in their world. What is peer support and why is it needed? Why are we needing this funding? One, peer support provides the most amazing program where it's a one-on-one individual who an individual will be able to sit down with who has had lived experience, who can sit across from you and understand and show empathy because they've also walked and they also understand what you're going through. Our family partner. Family partner is a beautiful thing that we could coordinate with our communities and schools, because sometimes we have children that we don't understand how to help their mental health of what's going on. So this is where we not only support the child, but we help the primary caregiver within this family to help them navigate and understand the mental health diagnosis that they have and how to help them better monitor it and their symptoms. What will your monies help us do? One, we will all continue to work as a team in this community. More education means that more people will have readily accessible mental health services because we will have individuals who will be able to help meet that need. It will help decrease the crisis situation. It will help, I know that one of the ladies said on the communities and schools, there's been 3 suicides. We are not able to disclose how many suicides we have had, but there are more than 3 children in Hays County who have completed suicide and way more numbers of adults. We will be able to implement preventive services, take down on the lack of individuals utilizing resources such as the ER and the jail, because they will have resources readily available to them to be able to help them to know that they have a safe place to go and they have a big support system to be able to help them with it. So we're asking you to partner with us because mental health is going to continue to go, it's going to continue to grow, and we cannot do anything in Hays County unless we have the correct funding to be able to help the individuals, to help your neighbor, to help your mom, to help your child, to help your sister. And that's what we're here to, because I think at the end of the day, every one of us who are asking for your money, we have the same goal and the same outcome in mind. And it is the better good of serving Hays County. And that is 4 minutes.
Okay, is that the end of your presentation?
Yes, ma'am. We are
Okay.
good for questions.
Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and start the question and answer period.
Does anybody have questions?
I just want to thank you for the work that you do. It is it's a hard job because you're working with a very vulnerable population, and the needs are going to grow. They're going to continue to grow. So my question is, once an individual receives services through your agency, do you have caseworkers or anyone that continues to follow that particular individual after they leave you and the actual plan or program you put together for them? Because I know we have a lot of folks that kind of fit in the revolving door. You see them maybe every 30 days, or they may come back once or twice a year. How does that program work?
Well, if I may speak, I'm Amy. I'm the clinic director at Shibe Mental Health in San Marcos.
Yes.
And that's actually where our peer support team comes in play, actually. Just being able to make that connection, and individuals that have been in services are able to continue to attend groups that we have and to reach out at any time when they are needing that additional support. We've had that happen so many times. We've had individuals just reach out once they've kind of made a transition out of services, but they're, finding themselves in a difficult place again. And so we just bring them right back into services and try to surround them with as much support as we can. So we offer skills training and support, but really I think that peer support is a key component to really having that connection with someone who has that lived experience. It's just, it's a great way to kind of keep them connected in services with us and help them become mentors for other individuals that are in services and kind of new to it, because just sometimes walking in the door is the hardest part. So we want to try to get them to support each other and just work together to continue to grow that community and that support amongst themselves.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, you're welcome. It is sometimes very hard work, but it's very rewarding. So I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm glad to do it.
So what are the eligibility guidelines?
For services, for an
Correct,
individual, no, that's okay. So eligibility guidelines just include anyone. So we actually have intakes open now. We've made great strides to actually have our intakes happen the same day. So the same day that a person walks into our door, we're able to ideally have them meet with an LPHA and do a complete assessment and let them know what their services would look like and what they would qualify for. So having a persistent mental illness, primarily we treat individuals with major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, and schizoaffective disorder, as well as substance abuse. We also have a licensed chemical dependence counselor on board that offers group and individual services as well.
And where are you, where's your, where are you housed? Where's your brick and mortar?
Yes, we're at 1200 North Bishop Street. So off of Craddock and yeah, right off of Bishop Street. We actually encompass the entire city block there.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain the rent cost.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We have IDD services and then also our mental health services on the same area.
Okay.
5
And
minutes.
the bulk of the money, would you say that the bulk of the funds that you're requesting is for salaries?
Yes,
Or-
it is. It's to fund the continuation of the mental health court care coordinator and peer support specialist and a family partner.
Okay.
It would
And the
be matching
benefits,
funds and it would be half of the salary.
you have, what are the, you mentioned matching funds?
Well, yes. So we were asking for half of the funding for those positions, and then we would fund the other half of the funding of the cost.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I should call time. So thank you very much for presenting and for answering the questions. And we'll go on to our next presenter, which is First Baptist Church National Baptist Convention. And the program is the Outreach Ministry. And the presenter is Shannon Carr. Shannon, did you have a presentation you wanted to share?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, and let's see. I think that we need Hill Country to take your presentation down.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, and I'm trying to figure out how to let Shannon present. So Shannon, I'm gonna make you a co-host.
I did it.
Okay, great.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Oh, and now Shannon has got it. So, okay, we're good.
Yeah, we're on point now. Well, good afternoon. Well, good evening. Sorry about that. To the Human Services Advisory Board, and thank you again for allowing me to be here and to present on what our church is doing for our community. As we are going through this presentation, I just wanted to touch bases real quick and let everybody know that we have been around for 156 years. We are celebrating 156 years in November. So we are excited about that. And through those years, we have always been providing community service. I know that I heard the young lady speak earlier today that she's one of those hidden treasures, and so has First Baptist. First Baptist has been around for a long time, have been doing their thing for a long time, but we decided to not be a hidden treasure anymore, and have been really working hard to reach out into our community. So we focused on 3 different avenues. We focused on food pantry, our helps ministry, which helps out on various levels, from rental assistance to gas in the car. A lot of housing. We have quite a bit of homeless people in our area, so we're helping with that aspect. And then also counseling. So some of these pictures that you're seeing is just some of the partnerships, some of the activity that we've been doing, and just to be there as our community is in need, and they definitely are right now. Some of the activities that we've been doing this past August, I believe, we had some fun. We went ahead and had a back to school activity. We partnered with several different organizations and community partners, which is something that we did not do earlier. We just kind of did it on our own, but we recognized that being in partnership is something that we can expand and help a lot more people. Come on now, everybody should have known that, right? But it was something that we just were not doing. And so we decided to really hone in on that. And we started helping a lot more people than ever we had thought. I wanted to touch bases just a little bit on some of the things that we've been doing. So we started starting with a baseline in 2022. And so as we're looking at our food pantry, we were only doing it twice per month. But with funding, supporting partnerships, now we're doing it 6 times per month. And then our helps ministry, we were doing 3 times a month. And that was depending on, what the needs were, but we were only providing $4,000. And then our toy giveaway supported 176 kiddos. But as we went into 2022, we started increasing the support to over 10 families or people. We have so far provided $16,000 worth of supports. We've had our blanket giveaway, toy giveaway. We just was giving away this year. And so we have been very honored to be able to really reach out to our families a little bit more. And then our counseling, we never really did keep up with that data because that's something that we just did. But currently to date, we've had 47 individuals and families that we have provided an array of counseling to, from mental health to substance use, family, I can't think of the word, but we've been doing every type of counseling that you can think of. And then we've also provided a trauma-informed care training. Later on, further down, we've increased our community and city partners. We've onboarded an outreach director. Our awareness of our services is now prevalent, and there's so many people that are now calling and contacting us. 3 times more community members serve. And
30 seconds.
Thank you. Increased volunteer supports and unique individuals to date, approximately 500, which is something that we never really did. So what's next? We're going to focus on the direct individuals that we serve and really start trying to find a way to what is really going on in San Marcos that we can make sure that they are having that continued wraparound for support so people can live a little bit more independently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we will start that 5-minute question and answer period now.
Shannon, I see that you guys have kind of exploded out there on that side of town and the community there. Can you tell us about the population, the particular population in and around First Baptist in BC?
I apologize, I put myself on mute there. Yes, our population is more of the African American people of color that are around First Baptist, where we are, First Baptist NBC, the Mitchell, MLK area. And so we've been focusing and targeting not only our population that is close there, but then also anywhere in San Marcos. Anybody in need is who we are focusing on, or who our targeted population is. But yes, around the First Baptist Church area, it is people of color and folks who are low income or indigent. Thank you for that question, Ms. Earls.
So it appears you're asking for less money this year than you did last year. Is that because you've gotten other funding, or somehow
Ms.
how did you
Quinn,
manage to do that?
when I tell you partnerships are the best thing ever, it's the best thing ever. So we did start doing a lot of partnerships. Just with the idea of giving out the car seats that we did, we had a partnership with another organization. And so between both of us together, we were able to provide those car seats to people that were in need, the transition. This is everything. The Capital Area Food Bank, the Hayes County Food Bank, and just connecting with them. One of the other things that we did is started investing in our community. So we started looking into the Chamber of Commerce and really connecting with the folks that are at the Chamber of Commerce, learning so many different things from them. And that partnership has also given us a head up in this is what's going on. Plus, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I also recognize that the funding isn't there as it was last year. And so we really needed to make sure that we were able to sustain this as much as we can, in hopes that we can continue to transition the funding that is given to us and be as sustainable as possible.
So you've gotten better at networking, apparently.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, with the help of our outreach director, which is someone that we did not have the year before.
And you have 15 to 20 volunteers for the whole program?
That's it.
Wow, that's not a whole lot.
We are busting. We're doing the things. We have some dedicated people. And a lot of times it's the folks that we have helped serve. They come back and they say, when are you doing something so we can help and provide that support? And so that's what we've been utilizing. This next upcoming year, we're looking at a database that we're able to put together to help support any of the other organizations out there. We were not taking the data that San Marcos was asking for. And so we wanted to create something to be able to just plug and play a person in and we get whatever data that we're doing. So we're playing with that right now in order to develop something that could be useful.
So data, you lost me. Data.
That's okay. A lot of the reporting that is needed for the Human Service Advisory Board grant, the data we were not collecting. the different individuals, the income base, we were just here to help. So what we're trying to do is create a database that whatever we need from that data is collected. It'll make the end of the quarterly reports easier to plug in.
Oh, I see.
Together, the whole thing. And so we're hoping that may be something of use.
5 minutes.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Okay, we'll have to stop there. And we'll go on. Thank you very much. We'll go on to our next presenter. Our last presenter is the Youth Services Bureau, and presenting their Teen Network Active Community Teens program, and presenting is Julie Holler.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
Okay.
I have a presentation and maybe I can do this. I think I can. I'm just going to do a small, I'm not going to make a huge deal of this. We are the San Marcos Youth Service Bureau, and we have been around since 1975. We are one of the oldest organizations in town. We continue to be a free program for youth ages 11 to 17. So we are after school and summer. And our mission is to empower our youth in the San Marcos and Hays County communities to become contributing members of society as they grow into adulthood. And I've been here for 19 years, and I can see that the kids are growing into be great youngsters, great adults. They're great parents. They become physical therapists, social workers. They're going to pharmacy school. You know, they are working at the university. They're just great kids. And if there's something that goes on in the community where somebody needs help, if there's a flood or whatever, I see these students that are now adults rushing to see what they could do to help. So it's been a great little program for us. We try to look at the child as a whole person. So we try to individualize our approaches as things come up. Sometimes we have kids that say, oh my gosh, there was a truck that followed us from the bus stop and we were scared. And so I can call on the police department to come do a presentation on, how to avoid situations like that. We can easily manipulate our program to meet the individual needs of the kids. We provide educational tools to the youth to meet various needs that they have. They live in a really a stressful world, and they, especially during COVID, it has just been crazy. So we can help them adapt. I have kids who've lost many family members. I have kids that are getting out of their drug situations, or kids that have attempted suicide, and we can kind of give them the tools and the approaches that they need to deal as an individual with whatever comes their way. We try to do a lot of education in that manner. We do utilize other services to provide some of that education, such as Centacor and Arcel and different kinds of the other agencies in town. They all volunteer and contribute to our program. Some of the things that we do for our kids, it's a prevention program, basically. We give them tools on how to say no to drugs, how to recognize an unhealthy relationship. So we can do things like that for them. And we can do it in a fun way. We also encourage them and take them out into the community to volunteer. And so just the feeling that they have from giving back to their community and investing in their community gives them such pride and such hope and a vision of what they can do in the future. We also have a lot of mentoring going on. I am the only full-time staff member. So I have a part-time staff member during the school year, which is she works about 14 hours a week. But other than that, we have social work students from the university. We have all kinds of interns from all of the different programs. We have volunteers, they're psychology majors, they're nutrition majors. And so we've been doing a lot of natural science and things like that. We have some really great mentors from the community. We also teach them a lot of life skills. These are very simple things sometimes, because some of these kids have never carved a pumpkin, never decorated a Christmas tree, never baked a cookie.
30 seconds.
Or gone to the library, and we taught them how to check out books and get a library card and things like that. We expose them to things that might be of interest to them that are healthy in the long run: fishing, camping, just physical exercise, swimming, things like that. And so after school is so important because it gives the kids a safe place to come. It helps them develop their confidence, help them make better decisions in their lives. They are
5 minutes.
Just, healthy, just trying to raise healthy kids. I think I have one more, and that's it. That's all I have. I appreciate it. You have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I have a very small budget, so.
Okay, thank you. And we will start that question and answer period now.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you, honey?
Good, thank you. I have 2 questions. So, on average right now, what is your length of participation for youth? And then currently this school year, how many youth do you have enrolled in the program so far?
Right now I have 5, and they have some special needs. And so, last summer I had 24 kids, and we built a treehouse. And so it kind of varies from semester to semester, from year to year. The kids in the summer said they all wanted to come back this school year, but then they got involved in every single activity that they could possibly get involved in at the school. And their parents said, "Oh my gosh, Julie, they can't come." But so it just kind of depends. Our numbers have been down a lot because of COVID. They're really starting to bounce back. I was very surprised at the turnout during the summer, and I am getting a lot of referrals from some of the middle schools right now, which is fantastic. So.
Thank you.
Unlike you, they used to come and stay for years and years, but we'll see. Got to get them. It's really hard for them to arrange transportation. Transportation is a huge issue with most all of the youth organizations.
Under status, you listed program expansion. Is that expanding services?
I would like
Incorporating more children? What's expanding?
I would like to expand the amount of kids that I serve, possibly be able to go off campus if I can. And staffing would be great. It's just been, we do a lot of programs and we leave. I mean, we go out of the building all the time. So it's just, I don't have money for advertising. So it's kind of word of mouth. And it's like, we are one of the lost agencies also. People confuse us often with the Greater San Marcos Youth Council. So yes, I would just like to be able to increase the participation and our outreach and be able to expand our services as far as numbers. Always.
So what schools do you serve? How many schools?
Anybody who's 11 to 17. So that we've been getting a lot of, like this summer I had a ton of 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. And so, you know, all the way up through high school. I mean, and even if they're 18 and still in school, we will take them. I just happen to have a lot of kids right now from Miller and private schools. I have some kids that are homeschooled also.
So you go out to the after school program. I'm trying to figure, you know.
We take the kids out of the building and we go volunteer, or we'll go to Arsenal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering what physically that looked like.
Yes.
Whether you went to the school and provided activities or.
No, we do a lot of things here, but we always try to go out into the community, make sure people know we're here. Up until COVID, we were going to a couple of nursing homes, and you know, since COVID has hit, it's been more difficult to actually go mingle with some folks and to do that kind of thing. So we've been doing more things indoors, but that is changing. Goodness, you know, for goodness sakes. It's like this summer we went to the Olympic Center over there and we built a tree house. And so, you know, in the summertime, we never stay in the building. We meet here and go do our thing and then come back and the parents pick them up. And they're here from 12 to 6 during the summer. So our hours are longer.
5 minutes.
All right, I guess we'll have to stop there. Thank you very much for your presentation and
Thank y'all.
answering questions. And so we will now move on to the rest of our agenda. And so the next item is an action item. And so I'll turn it back over to Gloria to lead that.
Try to get this off.
Thanks.
Maybe.
This.
No, just the blue card.
So this evening, we will elect a new vice chair for the board. You can feel free to nominate yourself or someone else for these positions. Do we have any nominations for the position of vice chair?
And I guess I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to remind you that, oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm hearing feedback, but I'll go ahead and remind y'all that the need for the vice chair is so that we can have somebody in person at the library each time. That's part of the Texas Open Meetings Act requirements. And so we're looking for someone to alternate with Joanne, who is the chair.
Are there any other responsibilities outside the meetings, facilitating meetings that's required?
No.
Well, I nominate Monica.
I sign off at board meeting. Is it okay if Hill Country goes ahead and says goodbye?
Yes, absolutely. Y'all are definitely able to leave.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
I'm sorry, Carol, did you hear me?
No, sorry.
I nominate Monica for vice chair or co-chair, I'm sorry.
I like the idea. And you did ask a question about duties.
It's okay.
Sorry, Monica, I didn't ask you before.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to make a nomination?
Carol, I had a question. Do we have quorum? It's 4, right?
It's 4, so yes. And Rachel is new. I don't know if everybody We didn't really make a big splash, but Rachel Montgomery is our new board member in place of Alfreda Lee. And so we do still have a quorum with 4 voting members, which are Gloria, Monica, Mary, and Rachel. Thank you for checking though. Okay, so then Gloria, it's really over to you, and you can read the part where it says, we'll now hold the vote, or I will. Either way.
Go for it.
Okay, just doesn't matter that much. Okay, so we will now hold a vote for the position of vice chair by roll call. And when your name is called, please state the person's name who you're voting on. And so we will just go ahead and take a confirmation roll call for Monica Gonzalez as the candidate. And so Allison, and she is gone. Okay. Mary.
I'm sorry, Carol, you went out. What did you say?
I'm sorry. We're just taking a roll call vote for Monica as co-chair.
Yes, Monica Gonzalez.
Okay, and then we have Monica. Are you voting for yourself?
Yes.
Okay. And Gloria?
I vote Monica.
Okay, thank you. And Rachel?
I'm gonna go ahead and vote Monica too.
Okay, Monica wins by a landslide. And we'll be in touch with you to coordinate, basically. Between me and Joanne, we'll coordinate with you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thanks. And then we go on to the next item on the agenda, discussion items.
We will now hold a discussion among board members on programs, agencies, and applications for the purpose of clarification, comparison, evaluation, and assessment. This discussion is public. However, it is only among board members. This time is meant to be a free flow of conversation, but please make your comments succinct to allow time for all board members to share if they wish. This discussion will be facilitated by Carol Griffith, Housing and Community Development Manager. Carol, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Before I ask my typical question, I did want, which is, what sort of made this memorable. I did want to remind everyone that scoring will be due next Friday, the 14th. And so what I'm looking for then is that Excel spreadsheet that has the tally of your scores across, so that in columns. And then I wanted to go over just very quickly what I'm going to do with that. So the same thing as last year, which is I realized that each board member scores very differently. Some people score only in the 90s. So like their low people are 90 and their high people are 100. Some people score the full range, where low people are maybe 20 or 30 and then high people are 100. And so I'll look and do the best I can to divide your scores into, okay, well, this group seems to be the low, this is the middle, and this is the high. We still need you to score objectively. And so that's why we have the point system, but I'll try to do that. So if you want to go ahead and mark, low, medium, and high as well, that'll help me out. I'll take it. And what it also does is gives us sort of a 3-color spreadsheet that we can all look at the following week to see where the scores ended up. Like maybe half the board thinks this one is high and the other half thinks it's low. Okay, well, we definitely will have to talk about that one. If the whole board thinks it's high, we talk about that first, and we will basically say, okay, are there any agencies that just flat definitely need to be funded? And we'll start there and sort of put them aside, like, okay, well, these are definitely in. We'll do the same thing. Like, are there any agencies that you just really see, like, we'll look on the scores, and if it's all low across the board, then I'll ask you, can we go ahead and just not fund those? Is that what y'all are saying? So I'll try to lead the conversation that way. I just wanted to give you a quick preview of how it's going to go. If we have tiebreakers, we could always do something more formal, like compare each one to each other. and do what's called a paired comparison that way if we need to. Last year, I think the little bit less formal discussion worked well, and so we can do that as well. So we're just about to launch into that season, and I wanted to bring it up so that you can be thinking in those terms as you wrap up your scoring. So with that, the usual question is, what made these presenters memorable, or the agency, or I'm sorry, the agency or the program? And what are your thoughts on the agencies that presented this evening?
Well, for me, all of the agencies thus far, I think, are needed. I mean, they're all about service for our communities and populations who need their help. At this point, I'm just at a point where I'm just hoping that we can fund everybody at some level. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with, saying now, given the climate of our communities and the things that all the organizations have gone through this last year. I think they all deserve to be funded because I think their programs are worthy of the needs in this community. It is what it is. We have the money we have. So that's just kind of where I'm staying. The populations that they're serving are ones that are very vulnerable. And then when I think about the other organizations and, the things that they're doing and the resources they're providing, it's all so needed. I just think that we're moving in a different direction with the needs of in our community, and they just seem to keep growing. So of all the agencies and organizations that I've heard thus far, all of them exist to serve our community as a whole. And I that's just where I am. So I find it difficult to just say one is, better than the other, or one that, is providing a greater need, because the needs are so great and they're growing. The needs are growing in our community as our community is growing. That's where I'm at with all.
I agree, all of them are needed. What struck me though was communities and schools. I love the idea of their program, but something that caught my eye, in their PowerPoint was they listed the different campuses, and one of the campuses was the pre-K program in Bonham. So that just kind of shocked me, but at the same time kind of validated what I already knew existed, but people don't talk about, is even at a very young age, in pre-K, sometimes they do need that extra support because they're young and they're suffering, from mental health issues, and they just don't have that support in the family, or the family can't recognize it. And so that's what kind of stood out to me, is it's such a broad range of ages that they serve. And then with the Baptist Church, I was pleased to hear that they're getting more focused over the years. And I really like that they have like those 3 areas that they're focusing on. It seems like they're learning from their past experiences, and they're building on that, and they're improving their programs. They're becoming more out there and known. So I really like seeing that they're growing and expanding and have learned from their previous experiences. So those were the 2 that really just stood out to me. But all of them are definitely needed. And then the last presentation, I really like the idea. I'm sad to hear that their numbers do fluctuate per semester and year, but I completely understand. I'm a parent of 2 boys. So they have a lot of other programs going on that they want to take part in, either athletics, track, one wants to do hiking. So we're just all over the place. But I do like the idea in the summer that it gives children an opportunity to go out there and do volunteer work, to build up their resumes. I have a 12-year-old that is always bugging me. I need to get my volunteer hours because I want to go to, and he already listed the Ivy League college he wants to go to. But, those are things that are on some children's minds. So it gives them an opportunity to do volunteer work and get out and do things in the summer instead of just being home playing video games. So they're all very important. And that first presentation with the mediation, those are definitely needed services for populations that just can't pay for those services. So that's also a very needed service. And that's kind of what stood out from all the different presentations, but they're all definitely needed, and it will be a very hard decision.
Hi, guys. I know I'm new to this, but I'll share my thoughts. I agree with both of you. Like and I wish I had been here from the beginning to, hear all the other presentations, but it's hard times all around for our community. And like you said, Mary, I wish there was more money so we could fund, all of it fully, but I work in finance and deal with budgets. So, I've had kind of the same thought is, can you distribute some to everyone and it still be a benefit? Because I agree with what you said, Monica, that it's going to be hard to pick, which ones. They're all deserving. These folks that spoke tonight, they're all obviously very passionate about what they do and they care, and they're all needed. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's, it's a lot to take in late to the proceedings, but I just wanted to share my thoughts from tonight. But I appreciate y'all listening.
Did you say that we were starting the scoring on the 13th, next Friday? Carol.
She's on mute.
I'm muted, sorry. I'm asking for you to turn in your scores on the 14th.
Turn in the scores on the 14th.
Yes, and I'll look up the calendar while everyone else is chatting, and then I'll reiterate our calendar, because I believe there's an off week where I get some time to put the scores together into a Tableau where you can see the whole thing at once, and then we meet again after that. So I'll look up the calendar and we can go over that in just a second.
It's the 27th that we don't meet.
We don't meet on the 27th of October?
Correct.
No meeting. All right. So on the 13th, what are we doing?
Sorry, maybe I misspoke.
Okay, so on the 13th, we still have more presentations.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah. So on the 14th, I'm asking for your scores. Then staff compiles everything into a discussion packet, and I'll send it to you. And then we meet on the 27th as the first discussion meeting. So we actually have the 20th is an off week for meeting.
Thank you.
That gives us time. So the 13th, we have presentations, but that's a Thursday. The 14th is the Friday. I'm asking for you to turn in your scores. Then we don't meet the next week. And then you'll receive a packet, though, that next week. You'll get a packet to look at. And we meet on the 27th to have the first just general discussion meeting.
Yes, my apologies for misspeaking.
No worries.
Oh, okay, so so on the 20,
The 20th, we don't meet.
the 20th, we don't meet. All right, no meeting. All right, and then the 27th is when we're gonna discuss the scoring.
Yeah, and that's when we'll really start to talk through who gets funding. That's the first decision meeting. Then we have on the schedule, November 3rd would be another meeting. That's the following Thursday would be another time. But between those two meetings, decisions need to be made. Like whatever y'all want to do, we have to have a slate of agencies funded by November 3rd.
Okay. All right. And I don't have a copy of the the last year's scoring assessment sheet, but apparently I know the maximum number of points under the category 1 was 25 points and now it's 50.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the other criteria, the evaluation criteria has changed as far as numbers are concerned too, or I don't think so, but.
I honestly can't remember at this point what I did, but I trimmed some off the other categories to add to the community need and justification, because the city council asked us to specifically look at their strategic initiatives. Honestly, I'll tell you, and it's still being recorded, so I'll just tell you what I think. It is, to me, it's very hard to see how the strategic initiatives fit with social service agencies. And so if you're struggling with that, I think you're not the only one, but the city council did specifically ask us to look at those strategic initiatives to see if any of the agencies fit those and give them a little bit more points if they did. So I think it's a little awkward. So if you have questions on that, let me know.
Yeah, that and very few actually spoke to it in their applications.
Yeah, I think it honestly, it just doesn't fit. Like we're talking about human services and social services, and the strategic initiatives are talking about completely different things in my mind. So it's sort of not a fit. That's a little awkward.
So the total maximum scores are this numbers, the total max number available that you can score for is the same. It's just you moved around the point system a little bit.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For better or worse. Let's hope it's better. I don't know.
And the strategic initiative is that what you sent me. I had a question about that. And you sent me something in the email.
So it was in the board orientation packet, and it was called something like strategic initiative.
Well, that's why I had trouble trying to connect.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, I think.
Well, frankly, so is the explanation of the strategic initiatives. It's a little I don't have the right word. Challenging to interpret.
Yeah, it really is. So I agree. Like I don't know if I can make it easier.
Yeah, and
but
apply. I
agree.
guess we're both saying the same thing. It's challenging to interpret it and then apply it to, what we actually do.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
Carol, it's 8:25.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. So we can definitely continue on. I don't want to cut us short. That's just our 8:25 warning, just so everybody knows that time is flowing.
Okay.
So it's kind of up to you if you want to keep the discussion going. Or...
Does anybody else have anything they want to add or say? Thank you, Monica, for volunteering for vice chair.
You're welcome. Glad to serve.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yes.
It is now time to receive updates from board members on activities since the last meeting. Does any board member have any updates for the group? No? All right, we'll move on to the next item, which is future agenda items. Board members may provide requests for discussion items for a future agenda in accordance with the board's approved bylaws. No further discussion can be held related to topics proposed until they are posted on a future agenda in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act. Does any board member want to request an item for a future agenda? Well, I do. And I don't know if now's the right time to bring it up, but at the end of the presentations, I don't know how much time is allotted for, what do you think about what was presented? You know, what are your thoughts on that? I think that time, I would rather have that time allotted to a lengthier presentation that might help us in scores and better understanding what they actually do a little better, how the money is actually, because that's a lot of reading. It's a lot of reading goes into trying to research this. And at the end of that reading, I'm not sure I have much clearer a picture of just where the money is going. I have a better understanding of what their mission is and what the object of the what it is they're trying to accomplish. So I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, we end up saying pretty much, and I think we all think the same. Everybody, all these agencies are doing, you know, a good job. They, you know, they're all worthy. They all have needs. They're all necessary. It's even more necessary every year. So it just seems a little redundant.
So for the future agenda item, do you want to put down a discussion of the length of the presentations? So maybe,
yeah,
it
I
sounds
want to
like you're
eliminate that afterthought. What do you
eliminating.
think?
Okay.
Because it's, you know, I mean, what else are you going to say other than it sounds like a needy contribution to the city. I just don't, I just don't think it's time well spent, and I'd rather see more time dedicated to the presentation to help us in our job in scoring, which is, you know, kind of arduous.
Got it. So I think I've got the idea, and we can put it on the agenda for discussion next week.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't think about that ahead of time to kind of read too many words. But I think you get where I'm getting at.
I think we got it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? I mean,
we can't discuss that right now, but we can.
We can't? Okay.
But we can discuss it next week because we'll get it on the agenda.
Oh, I get it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. We'll now move on to the agenda item called Questions and Answer Session with Press and Public. This is an opportunity for the press and public to ask questions related to items on this agenda. Staff, is anyone present in person, online, or by phone to speak to this agenda item?
So I'll ask Joe, do you have any questions of the board that relate to this specific agenda?
Well, I'm not sure if it's related to what y'all were just talking about a minute ago. Years past, the board actually would split the agencies among themselves, and they would do a personal interview. I mean, I don't know if I can bring that up now, or you want me to wait till next week to kind of bring that up? But that way each board member got to ask more specific questions before the actual presentation. And then that way you would have at least a heads up for possible questions you want to ask the agency when they did their presentation. So that may be something the board may want to think about in the future, or whether you can still do it within the small time limit that you have as far as making decisions. But I kind of got the impression that really helped board members. I know Monica, I think, may have interviewed me a couple years ago before the actual board presentation. So I think if you were able to actually interview or maybe visit the specific agency to get a better heads up, I mean, yeah, they can do this 5-minute presentations, but there's a limit of what they can share with you. And I'm sure it only adds more questions that you may have of the specific agencies in order for you to make a decision on the funding.
Okay, and I guess I'll, so it sounds like if we phrase it as a question, your question is, do you want to consider having the individual board members visit the agencies like they used to? And I will say, as an answer to that, that we decided that it was not totally inappropriate, but borderline, because we really wanted to have the agencies be able to present to all the board members at the same time. And it also seemed more time efficient to have the agencies come to the board and present instead of having the board members go interview them and then come and secondhand give the information to the board. And so we actually purposefully removed that as an option when it changed from the finance department to the CDBG department. And so that's
well, actually, and they actually had to do both. We got interviewed, and then we also had to do the presentation to the entire board. So individual board members, when they interview these agencies, they could share what their findings were with the group, at some future agenda item. But then when the actual presentation was done, at least you had a little more details than what's included in the application. That's just a suggestion that I would share with you.
okay.
There's a lot more agencies now, though, and when we would personally interview a specific agency, it was you interviewed, like, I don't know how many it was per person, like 3 or 5. So that's not the whole. That's not all the programs that present. So you might have the advantage of knowing a little more detail about an agency that you actually interviewed, but it's not going to help you with the others. The presentation is, my opinion again.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. And I mean, I've actually learned a lot from listening to y'all's presentations over the past few weeks, because a lot of the stuff that these agencies are bringing up, those are actually things that other agencies are providing service for. So it's a way for the agencies themselves to collaborate. I know back in 2013, they did a study of the needs of San Marcos. And then from that, they were able to, and I think that's kind of where the board got the point system, or so kind of came out of that. But I think just kind of getting the agencies together to kind of not duplicate their services, or maybe, there's a need for like food or for medication or stuff like that, that maybe some of the other agencies are able to provide. And so they don't have to request that through the funding from the Human Service Advisory Board. I mean, there's other agencies out there that provide those same services.
So I think we're kind of borderline going into discussion at this point. And it's really meant to be a question and answer session. So, so anyway, back over to you, Gloria, for adjournment.
Yeah. Bruce. Thank you all for your participation. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Mary
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. I will now adjourn this meeting at 8:36 PM.